Hello, I'm Eric Starnes, head of drums at Tech Music School, and I'm here today to talk to you about the drums. All right, as a drummer, some things that are really useful to work on different styles of music. You really need to understand how to play rock and reggae and funk and jazz and soul and drum and bass and samba. All these things are things that drummers will be asked to play. So as well as working on reading skills and sticking patterns and developing speed, you also want to learn how to play different styles of music authentically. That's the stuff that's actually going to get you work as a musician and keep you quite busy, and hopefully, expand your musical vocabulary as well. Another really important thing I would recommend is actually to spend as much time practicing on your own instrument. It's very difficult with drums. We often wind up playing on other people's drums. But if you actually play on your own instrument, you actually learn how to tune it, you learn how to get a sound out of your own instrument, you learn how to hit it to produce the sounds that you actually want. And when you get into a recording studio, you know how to tune it because it's your very own instrument. When you do that on other people's kits all the time, it's a bit tricky. Although we do often have to be adaptable, I would recommend actually practicing on your own instrument as much as humanly possible. Learning to read music is also an essential skill. It will help when you get into situations where people put a piece of music in front of you if you can read it. It's also a really good way to notate your ideas, to transcribe things that you've heard on records, but also you can pick up a book and teach yourself. It's also really good, when you go to lessons, a teacher can write things down. You can take them home and practice and read them. I'd recommend recording yourself as often as possible as well. It's quite a revealing thing to listen back to yourself playing. Don't forget to spend some time improvising and experimenting on the drum kit. That's what's going to lead to you and me and all of us having a unique voice on the instrument. I think it's also really important to seek out a good teacher. There is no substitute for actual good one-to-one tuition. And I'm not talking about somebody who's actually just got a grade 8 or some diploma somewhere. Somebody who's actually got real-world experience is the best bet. So take some recommendations from people you know and musicians you know as to who a good teacher is. And last but not least, spend as much time as possible playing with other musicians. It makes a whole lot more sense when you put the drums in context to something else, because very often playing drums on your own, it sounds great and it feels great, but you're not actually interacting with other musicians, and you don't actually figure out what the drums are supposed to be doing until you actually play it alongside a bass and a guitar and some keyboards and horns. All of that kind of gives what you're doing some context. So if we keep in mind all the things that we've discussed today, you should develop a good practice routine, which will hopefully yield results. And that's how to practice drums.